Quantopian made some changes, and this is where the classes of Python are now being referenced in a very different way. Now, there is a migration guide that talks about these classes. Although, if you know Python, then it's easier for you to understand, but I'm going to quickly go through the changes. The first change is with the data object. Data was a dictionary keyed by securities in your universe for the given bar. This was used to obtain pricing and volume data for specific securities in a given bar. Iterating over data was equivalent to iterating over all securities in your trading universe. The new data object in Quantopian 2 is an objective function that allows you to look up data for any or multiple securities. The function now available in the new Quantopian 2 are data.current, its current list, comma field, data.history, security list field, bar count frequency, data.canTrade security, data.isTail security, data.fetcher. Data is no longer iterable. So that is change 1. Change 2, last known value lookup. Get the last known value for the specified field for asset with data asset.field. So current price is equal to data.asset.price. This was the older way. And now in the new way, last known value from lookup. Get the current value for the specified fields for asset with data.current comma field. So last time it was data.asset field, and now they started data.current and then asset, which asset you want to look for, and the field. So current price now is data.current comma price. Please note that asset can be a single asset object or a list of asset object. Field can be a string or a list of strings. The input type determines the output type of data.current, which is either a series or a panda data frame. History, bar count, frequency, and field. This used to get pandas data frame, storing a trailing window of data for a specified field for each security. So it was something like history, comma 10, which was the bar count, comma frequency, and comma field. Field is like a volume. So if you want to get volume history, 1 day for this time. So that was the history. Now the history is data.history asset field bar underscore count frequency. Here we get a trailing window of data for specified fields for each security in the asset, which is assumed to be a list of securities that you maintain. Hist is equal to data.history assets volume 10 ID. So if you remember here, it used to do for everything. Here you can still define the assets you want to choose, and also the order has changed. First comes the volume, then comes the bar count, and then comes the frequency. Asset can be a single entity object or a list of equity objects. And based on that, data.history will either be a pandas series, pandas data frame, or a pandas panel. Change in a security is in data. So in the earlier time, if we were to go through each asset in data, we used to write if asset in data. Previously it was possible to check if a security was tradable by checking if it exists in data. This was possible because the keys of data were made up of securities from your trading universe, while securities without trade volume were removed. Checking if data can be traded. So data.canTrade asset returns true if the asset has known last price and is currently listed on the supported exchange. If data.canTrade asset, order asset. So we were trading security or ordering an asset if it was in the data. This time we are checking if it has a last known price and is also in the exchange. Note that data.canTrade returning true does not guarantee that an order is placed during that bar will be filled. The order is filled depending on the size of the order, trading volume in the subsequent bar, and specified slippage model. Then you have set/update universe, which used to work like update underscore universe, set underscore universe, set history, and so on. There is no more trading universe. Instead, security should be stored in a variable context. For example, context.assets and data.history. And in the data.history, you have context stat as low 5 and ID. So this is how you're going to set and update the universe and reference the securities. Daily model backtest. It was used by DEF initialize context and DEF handle data, which is context.data. In DEF initialize context, you have context.asset is equal to sig24. In DEF handle data, you have order target percent context.asset.50. Run a minute model backtest using schedule function to run a function once per day. So this time, earlier, if you used to remember, we have to go on the northeast side of the screen to change the time when you want to run that. So in this time, it remains the same, but we have a schedule function rebalance date rule is equal to every day. Define rebalance context.data order target context and point 5. So this time you have another schedule function. Orders are now cancelled at the end of day in backtesting as well as live trading. So placing order at market close will not fill large orders, and order of illiquid securities may take many minutes to fill. These orders should be placed well before the market close. Then you have accessing fetcher data, moving average, VWAP, standard deviation, returns, and all of them have become a little longer due to the fact that you can find out which asset you are looking. So this was a very quick guide by the migration that's happening from Quantopian 1 to Quantopian 2. Thank you for watching.